Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, find the solutions to the quadratic equation that follows. 3 parentheses x minus 5 squared equals 48. So they're asking me to find the solutions, right? And of course they're giving me a quadratic equation. Okay, now I told you in another video, right, that when we're talking about solutions, right, there's a lot of ways that we can do it. I did one example earlier, which we use the quadratic formula, right? I'm not going to use the quadratic formula for this one. What we're going to do is we're going to actually factor my quadratic equation, okay? So you have done factoring before. Let's see if you remember a little bit about that, okay? So let's start. The first thing that I need to do is, if you notice, I have terms on both sides of my equal sign, and I need to have everything on the same side, okay? So I'm gonna move my 48 to the left, okay? But before I do move the 48 to the left, I want to do something with this, x minus 5 squared. That basically means that you need to multiply x minus 5 times x minus 5, if you remember, right? Okay, so this is what I'm going to get. So I will get 3 parentheses, and if I multiply x minus 5 times x minus 5, I'm actually going to get x squared, right, minus 10x plus 25. Okay, that's if I multiply those two binomials, right? And I'm gonna make that equals to 48. Okay, so what I want to do, like I said earlier, I want to pass, or I want to move the 48 to the left. Is that correct? But before I do that, right, I need to multiply by 3, okay, because it's outside the parentheses. So that will give me 3x squared minus 30x plus 75, and now I can move my 48 to the other side, so I'll get minus 48 equals 0. Okay, so remember that the way that you move the 48 is, if you have a positive 48, I'm going to take away 48 on this side, and I'm going to take away 48 on the other side, and that's how I ended up with the 0 on the right. Okay, are you guys with me? And I hope that you remember that basically here I'm doing the distributive property. Nothing new for you guys, right? I know you got this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I am gonna combine like terms, and the only thing that I can combine will be 75 minus 48. Is that right? The rest stays as it is. So I will write down 3x squared minus 30x, and 75 minus 48 gives me a 27, and that is equals to a 0. Okay, so I need to find my binomials, which is my factors, right? But before I do that, I notice that they all have a common factor, which is 3. Therefore, I will bring 3 outside, and 3 times what gives me a 30. 3 times 10, right? But since I have a minus, then I need to say minus 10x. And 3 times what gives me a 27? 3 times 9, right? Therefore, I need to say plus 9. You see what I did? Okay, so I got the factor, which is the 3, out. And that's very nice, because now if I'm looking for my factors, it will make things a lot easier for me. Okay, now to find the factors, I can go real quick, but I want to remind you how you guys do that in case that you forgot that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down my standard form right below my equation, because remember that I'm going to need my A, B, and C. So my A, it's 1, B, it's negative 10, and C, it's a positive 9. So I'm going to use this to find my factors. There's different ways you can do it. The way that I do it is I do a little x here, I don't know if you did it like that, but find my other videos. I explain how to do that, right? So here I'm going to say A times C, which is a positive 9. And opposite of that will be my negative 10. And this will be my 1. And I hope you don't tell me, Miss, you're going too fast, because this is like a review, guys, right, that you've done before. Okay, once I do that, I normally do a T-chart that I call it. And here I need to find two numbers that I multiply them, gives me a 9. But when I add them, I get a negative 10. So this will be, of course, 1 times 9 gives me a 9. But also negative 1 times negative 9 gives me a positive 9. Is that right? Okay, on the right side, if you remember, I need to add those factors. So 1 plus 9 gives me a positive 10, which is not what I need. And negative 1 plus a negative 9, that gives me the negative 10 that I was looking for. Therefore, these two will be my factors. Okay, so I hope that was like a quick review for you guys. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to write down my factors here. So before I write them, let me put them up here. So this will be a negative 1 and a negative 9, right? Remember, this one carries your x, and these are my factors. Okay, so one factor will be, and I'm going to write down parentheses, it will be x minus 1, and the other factor will be x minus 9, and all of that equals to 0. So now I know that these are my factors. And remember, the factors are needed because these will give you your solutions, guys. Okay? So I'm going to say x minus 1 equals 0. And basically what I need to do is I need to leave x by itself. So I am going to add a 1 on both sides. And that will give me x equals to 1. So guess what? This is one of my solutions. Okay? That's one of my solutions. On the other side, I have x minus 9 equals 0. So I'm going to add 9 on both sides. And that gives me x equals to 9. And guess what? That's my other solution. So the solution for my quadratic equation is going to be x is equals to a 1 and x is equals to a 9. So what does it mean by solutions? Well, I know you guys have a calculator, so I'm going to ask you to do this. Get a calculator, graph it, right? And you will notice that if I was to graph my equation, it's going to go through 1 and 9 on x-axis, okay? So hold on a little bit on that. Okay, so my graph is not going to be the nicest one, right? Because I'm going to do a freehand. But you guys have your calculator, right? So go ahead and do that for me. Plug in that on the calculator. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a little sketch over here. So solution means this. It means that my quadratic equation, which is a positive, right? So it's going to look something like this. Not that bad, right? And basically, it means that right here, guys, it's a positive 1. And right here is a positive 9. And guess what? Those are my solutions. Okay? That's basically what we found. Okay? So those are my solutions. The positive 1 and the positive 9. So look at the answer choices. And the one that matches that is letter C. Very good. So this is another approach to find your solutions. Okay?